Thank you all very much for your opening statements. We'll now begin the questions. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Gosar, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Thayer, the United States is kind of responsible for China, right?
Yes, sir.
And that would be the Carter Doctrine, right?
Well, if it would be an aspect of a longer tradition of that, although President Carter, of course, did illuminate that issue.
Right. So what we actually did, we thought that we could make China like us, and we just gave them our technology, right?
Yes, sir. We let them into our economic ecosystem, and they've thrived, obviously, within that ecosystem.
I think, Mr. Atkins, you talked about CFIUS. CFIUS is a poor constraint here because we saw that in Uranium 1. That's long gone past its point. So I guess my point is, if we're going to have some kind of a jurisdictional boundary over China, don't you think it would be better to say, instead of picking individual businesses, to say that no foreign national can sit on any operating or oversight board of any company in the United States? Wouldn't that be something of better value than trying to target one business after another?
I think that would be a start. I think another alternative would be to perhaps consider passing an updated version of the National Security Act of 1947, where the whole of government would have to abide by such rules that you point to.
Yeah, so in fact, Mr. Stokes, you talked about the rule of law, pretty much so. And if I was talking about an operating partner or an oversight partner, and they had to be U.S. citizens, violation is that's treason, right?
I don't know the legal definition, sir.
Well, I mean, they're a violation of their country, and it's a national. All these would be a national defense act. Okay. Let's talk about intellectual property. When I first came here in 2010, we were #1 in the world. We're not even in the top 10 right now. I mean, can you address that? And China, Mr. Thayer, Dr. Thayer?
Well, indeed, what we've seen, of course, is a shift in relative power from the United States to the People's Republic of China. That's been conducted willingly by many American firms who have shared their technology with the People's Republic of China. China also has, through legal and illegal means, acquired our technology. And so what we have seen, in essence, is really the greatest transfer of technology, of intellectual acumen, of knowledge about processes and with respect to production, with respect to marketing, with respect to execution in history.
Ambassador Sella. So really, the first to file violated the whole premise of our Constitution instead of first to discover, right?
Pardon me?
So the whole premise of first to file instead of first to discover, like what is we were told would change the whole concept of intellectual property, was a violation of our Constitution, right? Would you say that?
Not a constitutional scholar, sir.
Well, we gave the protections to. How about Mr. Stokes? Would you agree with that?
I also don't know the law there.
Okay. Well, what we did is we were told that if we said first to file and we allowed these trolls, whether they be foreign nationals or some of these big companies here, we allowed them to file, and then we said we were going to give you this little appeasement for the guy who actually found it to challenge that. It never works that way. So our intellectual property has been sold out. We're now not even in the top 10. And that really plays a big difference in our aspects. Ambassador Sella, if you were to prioritize which parts of business you would to look at very carefully, how would you prioritize those?
Congressman, I would say a very finely focused laser should be targeted to any sector that involves critical technologies, particularly those that entangle military technologies and space technologies, and certainly critical minerals. And there are gaping holes in that throughout the private sector and even the university sector. And there are citizens, civilians that are engaged on this and tracking it, filing lawsuits, whistleblowing, where we're particularly vulnerable in this.
Would you agree that if we had NGOs out there, non-government entities, if they were to take one penny, full disclosure should become about however they get their funding? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
How about you, Dr. Thayer? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
How about you, Mr. Atkinson? Would you agree with that?
Sure.
How about you, Mr. Stokes?
Absolutely.
God love you. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman,
Chair recognizes Ms. Mace.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article from March